Okay, in this video we are going to discuss PowerPoint and how to incorporate a bar graph or a pie chart into your slideshow. So the first thing you'll need to do is open up PowerPoint. So if you don't see it after you click the start button there, you could just start typing out PowerPoint and it'll come up. Now once you open PowerPoint, it's going to start out with a bunch of blank templates. Now these templates are very nice. They have some really good ones and there are some bad ones, so be careful with what you choose. You can also go into the search menu and type in a keyword to search for a template that you would like. So for example, let's just say engineering. And then once I search for that, it can locate some different templates that I may want to use. I'm going to go with this template. Give you a preview. You can do some more images if you want to click through it and see it. Then I'm going to hit create. So here's the basic layout. They give you a nice starting point to work with. If you don't like anything, you can edit it and get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and switch right to the bar graph and pie chart. Now I've already created one, so let me show you a final product of what I'm looking for. This one I'm really focusing in on cost analysis with the project that we're working on in my engineering class. They're doing the note card tower and they are evaluating the cost of their entire tower based on some criteria that I gave them. So you have some categories for staples, note cards, cuts, and folds. It's pretty much analyzing the cost of the materials and assembly of the note cards. So there's the pie chart, which is what you're going to want to do. And here's a bar graph with some of the same information, just a different way of showing it. And I also include the total of all of the materials and assembly here. And we're using a standard bar graph. This is the 3D version. You have a y-axis and your x-axis, and again you're evaluating cost, and the groups will have to present this in front of the class. So how do you do this? I'm going to go back to the other one. They give you a template to use, but I just end up erasing this and just making my own. So I just click on it, delete. It looks like I had to click it 3 times to delete all of the information, and it delete 3 times to get rid of that. I'm going to keep this for right now, the title. I can change that if I want later on. But how do you bring in a chart? So let's start with the pie chart. You're going to go up to Insert, click Chart, and right away you're given a bunch of different charts that you can use. So for today, we're going to talk about the pie chart and your column chart. We're going to go to pie first. Stick with your standard pie. There are some other ones in here if you'd like to use that. And actually, I'm going to use the 3D one for this one. I like that a little bit better than the other one I did that I just showed you. Now, right away, it pops the pie chart in there and it brings up an Excel document. I'm sorry, this is the Microsoft PowerPoint version to just enter some data very quickly. But what I'm going to do is click on this button to edit the data in Microsoft Excel. So what it's going to do is open up this data chart in an Excel document. So this is a whole separate document now. The first thing you'll see is the different quarters of the pie chart. Here there's 4. You can enter in as many as you want. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to represent your different categories. So for example, the staples, the folds, the cuts, and things like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is first off just change the names of these. And I'm going to type in staples, just hit enter, note cards, enter, cuts, and folds. And then what I would do is take a look at your tally sheet where you documented and kept all the data on your note cards, your creases and folds, your staples, and your cuts, to give you your total cost, because we're going to take this data and enter it into our Excel document, and that will create our pie chart. Now you could use any data that you have. It doesn't necessarily have to be for this project. So I'm going to go back to Excel, and I'm going to make up some numbers, but you're going to go ahead and enter in your data as you see it on your tally sheet. So let's just say I spent $25 on staples. We'll say let's go $35 on note cards, and then $5 on cuts, and we'll say $50 on folds. As soon as I change those numbers, it's changing the pie chart. So once I get the proper data in there, I can go ahead and close this out. Don't worry about the sales, we'll change that in the actual pie chart. So now I'm going to close out of that. And let's say you accidentally put something in incorrectly and you want to go back into that. If you just click on part of the pie here, and then right click and do an edit data in Excel, you can go right back into that Excel document and edit that information again. Some other things to note: you can see that down here it has created the appropriate color coordination with the categories that I have entered. The other thing that we're going to take a look at is if I click on the pie chart and then click on sales and highlight it and then hit delete, I'm going to get rid of that. Then I'm going to grab my title in the background, move that where I want it, about right there. And then you can edit this title and do whatever you'd like with it in the format option. If you want to give a different style title, whoop, I didn't have everything highlighted, but you could change it to whatever you'd like and make a nice title to go with your pie chart. There are some other options. If you click on the pie chart and then go to Design, under the Quick Layout button, you'll see some different options for the pie chart. I personally like to use this one because it's giving you a percentage along with the pie chart, which is very helpful. So I'm going to use that layout, and that was layout number 6, I believe, is the one I used. So now I have the percentage of those different categories, and it really helps me explain the cost analysis. And you'll notice again that sales came up, so I'm going to delete that. So now I have a nice pie chart for my presentation to help explain the cost analysis. The other thing you're going to want to do after you do the pie chart is your bar graph. So I'm going to delete everything on this. And I'm having you do both because they both display some of the same information with just a different visual. So I wanted to show you both ways in case you want to pick which one you'd like to use. But for this presentation that we're doing in engineering, I want you to use both, the pie chart and the bar graph. So let's take a look at that bar graph again. Here's your bar graph. So this is what we're going to do in yours. Again, you're going to go to Insert, Chart. This time you're going to choose Column, and we're going to use the 3D cluster column, and click OK. And again, it opens up your Excel document like it did before in the pie chart, but it opens it up in PowerPoint, and I want to open that up in Microsoft Excel, so I'm going to click on that button. And you'll notice right away that we have a little bit too much information going on, so we're going to clean that up here in a minute. First, I want to enter the categories again. So I'll go staples, note cards, cuts, folds, and this time I'm also going to enter a total amount as well. So if you notice, you have a blue, pink, and a yellow, and those are representing the different series that you have. We don't need series 2 or series 3, so what I'm going to do is just highlight all those and delete and get rid of that, and then you're left with just your single column. And you can go ahead and enter your data again from your sheet or wherever you recorded it. So let's just say 15 staples, 25 note cards, 5 cuts, and we'll say 35 folds. Now to do your total, we could add all these up, but I'm going to show you a quick way to do this in Excel. And it's so highlight the total column or the total area right here. Then if you go over here to this button right here and drop it down and choose sum, what it'll do is it'll sum the columns up above it, so now you know you have a total of 80. I'm going to close that out, and there's my information. Now we're going to go into design again. You have to have the chart highlighted. Go to quick layouts, and I'm going to use layout number 9 because it gives me an x-axis title and a y-axis title, and then I could just click in there, and the bottom x-axis could be our materials and assembly categories, and then my y-axis could be, Control Z, get in there again. My y-axis could be dollar amount. And then I don't need these, so I'm going to just go ahead and click on that and hit delete. I can delete the chart title if I wanted to, and then I could just go back into my pie chart and grab this title. It'll let me right click copy, and then I could go in here and right click and paste and use that same title that I had to show that same data in 2 different ways, with a pie chart and with a bar graph. So that's how you can add those different charts into your presentation. Thank you.